Yes, hello, I'm Gidon Ariel, and hello there, Dr. Richard Booker.
Hello, I'm from Texas. And how was your day today? We're just starting hours here in Texas. Yours is towards the end almost.
It's definitely almost. It depends on which side you are. It's about 7 o'clock here, 7 p.m., quarter to 7 p.m., and the sun went down at about 5:50. No, I'm sorry, quarter to six, and the sun went down at about 5:15, about a half an hour ago. So if I lived in a place that had a few more people, then I might already be asleep because then I would have been able to pray my evening services early, et cetera, et cetera. But all is well.
Very good.
Yesterday I had a late night, so tonight I might have an early one. How are you doing?
Well, we're taking it one day at a time. We're doing fine. I wanted to give a special blessing of love and support to you on this special day of remembering Kristallnacht. For most people in the Christian world are not familiar with Kristallnacht. And I've found in my experiences that the Jewish community in general doesn't really have a big memorial event for Kristallnacht because they have their spring activities. But this is why we started back in 1997 a yearly Remembering Kristallnacht event in Houston. For 18 years, we had survivors come and speak and a few others who were of interest. And it was the first time that far as I know, that some Jewish people had ever been in a church building. So that was a challenge. And also, for most Christians, had never heard a survivor give their story. Yes. So it was an amazing, remarkable, important 18 years. And I remember the first one we had in 1997, our dear friend Leah Weems of blessed memory. Of course, she was nervous about coming into a Christian church and talking to a bunch of Christians telling her story, but afterwards she was so emotional and said that it was one of the most loving feelings she ever felt in her life from the Christians. And then on the other side, the Christians told me that we've seen movies, we've read books, but you gave us a human face, and that's the important part. You gave us a human face. So this was no longer just something in a movie theater or on TV, but a real live person. So we had this every year for 18 years.
The same person?
Pardon?
With the same survivor every year?
No. Every year, different one. And one year we had was not a survivor, but a woman who had been one of the like an 18-year-old court reporter at Nuremberg. She was from America, and that of course changed her whole life. And she came and told her story. I think she had a book called Doctors of Death or something like that. So we had several people who were Gentiles who had some kind of important connection to the Holocaust in their research or writing books or something like that. So for those who are watching today's program, whenever, we want to make sure that we keep Kristallnacht in our minds. And we always, in fact, I wrote a book called Remembering Kristallnacht, why we should never forget. You need to get a copy.
Yeah.
Look, I'll hold it up right here. Here's the cover right here.
1 second, let me see that.
Remembering Kristallnacht, why we must never forget. There's the synagogue they burned, one of them. And it's about how many pages is this? Is about 70 pages. And it tells, one of the things that I do is I have the gift from God to take a lot of big stuff and reduce it down to shorter, concise, simple explanations. So I have a number of 50, 60, 70-page booklets that was kind of a summary of Josephus' 500-page encyclopedia, So in a short read, people can read these things. And it was a labor of love writing this, because the research was so hard, reading all the terrible things that happened. But November 9 and 10, 1938, remembering Kristallnacht. Of course, we have the expression "never again," and that means different things to different people. What I discovered that it would mean for me and my wife is that never again would we be silent. That's what that meant for us.
What it must mean.
Because we live in a world where evil abounds, and there's an ancient demonic hatred against Jewish people that will be here until Messiah puts an end to it.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't say never again will there never be terrible things happen to anybody, but we can say never again will we be silent. So this is been our life for a long time. We've done everything we could to speak out on behalf of the Jewish people and why Christians should stand in love and support. So this has been our life for a long time, Gidon, and it is why it's such an honor and blessing to be able to share our heart with you. Excuse me.
Yes.
So here we are. Hitler lost. Am Yisrael High. The people of Israel live.
I just saw today on WhatsApp, a friend of mine sent me a message about an initiative that a few people started here in Israel, but evidently is catching on all over the world. And that is tonight, which is the night between the 9th and the 10th of November. I believe it's the 73rd. No, it must be more than that. 78th.
No, like 1938.
83rd,
So
the 83rd.
83rd, right.
Tonight is the 83rd anniversary of Kristallnacht.
Right.
So what these people suggested or encouraged or whatever the word is that synagogues should keep their lights on all night, and there should be light instead of destruction this night of Kristallnacht.
I wish they could go. I wish they could go to the Christian churches, that they could do the same thing.
Now, of course, I just found out about this afternoon, and I don't even think that our community is going to do this, because people don't organize things from today till tomorrow. If I have the keys to my synagogue, and only I have the keys, or me and two other people, and it's my idea, then I'll tell my two friends. I'll send them one and say, listen, don't turn off the lights tonight. We're going to do this. Okay. But I'm not in charge of the synagogue. So what am I going to do? I sent it to the beadle, the guy who's in charge of the Gabbai, the guy who's in charge of the synagogue. He didn't respond to me. He's busy with other stuff. But I will suggest, again, we can start planning for today till next year. I will suggest.
Very good.
Suggest to you and to my many Christian friends, and to my friends at Kufi, which has representatives all over the world, certainly all over the United States, that they try to put this into their Holocaust memorial curriculum, into their Jewish curriculum, if you will. What does it cost? Pennies.
That'd be very good.
Pennies to keep the lights on, and to send out to their relatives, to their constituents, Why is this night different from all other nights?
Oh man, I gotta turn that off. Hold on. Okay, sorry. I thought I turned that off. It's supposed to be going off. That's ringing somewhere else in the house. I don't know. We got so many things going on. Well,
So I'm going to try to put together some sort of a proposal. I have a small group of WhatsApp of among friends, and if we take this as a project, then maybe by next year we can really initiate it amongst churches as well. In other words, I think that certainly synagogues should keep their lights on to symbolize never again. And we were victorious in spite of their attempts to blot out our light. But I think that Christians who keep their lights on, churches who keep their lights on, say, tonight this church is on in order to say, never again will we be silent. Never again will we avert our eyes. Just the opposite. We are turning the lights on to allow more light into the evils of this world in order to bring more light into this world.
That's very good. We had, during that 18-year period, we had two of our Kristallnacht memorials at Beth Yeshurun in Houston with our dear friend David Rosen. And there were about 900 people there, I guess, about 500 Christians, 400 Jewish people, something like that. And
just one second. Which David Rosen is that? The British Israeli gentleman?
No, here in Houston. He's retired now recently, but a very sweet, kind, loving man who's very supportive. And so we had one of the most memorable nights of Peggy and I's whole life was one of those we had when we had our friend, our speaker, and we found the survivor who liberated his camp. And the speaker, we found him in Kansas or somewhere, I don't remember, and we secretly brought him to Houston.
Wow.
And our speaker was Al Marks, who's of blessed memory now. Many of our survivors are of blessed memory, as you would figure. And so Al got through, and he mentioned my liberator, Bob Persinger. He mentioned him 3 times, my liberator, Bob Persinger. And I'm thinking to myself, he has no idea Bob Persinger is here. What does he keep saying this for? And Peggy's down on the front row, and our dear friend at the time, the Consul General of Israel in Houston, was sitting next to Peggy. And Peggy leaned over and whispered to her, "We have Bob Persinger here in this room tonight." And she just couldn't hardly contain herself, Well, Gidon, when Al Marks got through telling his story, and I got up as the host, of the meeting.
Where was it held? It was held at Beth Yeshurun?
Beth Yeshurun in Houston, yes. And I'm kind of summarizing and winding up his and making the transition to introduce Bob Persinger, but I'm doing it, very mysteriously. I'm not giving away what's fixing to happen, And I have it on my YouTube. You can go to rbooker.com. We have all of these Kristallnacht memorials, many of them on my YouTube page, and you can watch what I'm telling you on the video. They were all videoed. Most all of these were videoed.
Wow.
So when I started talking about this, I'm standing right next to Al, and you could see this expression on his face. It's like the little flower on the TV that opens up, and he started to think, nah, this could never be. So, but he wouldn't move his head, but I could see his eyes like darting around the room. Of course, he couldn't see Bob because he was way back in the back. And then I would give a few more clues, I'm getting everything I can out of this. And then his head would start looking around, and he would do like this. He was so serious. And Gidon, I get so emotional talking about this.
Of course.
When I introduced Bob Persinger, the place went absolutely wild.
Of course.
Christians and Jews standing, cheering, clapping, shouting, crying, hugging, loving each other. What do you know? Loving each other.
That's right.
And here's these two 80-plus-year-old men running, Al coming down off the podium and Bob coming from way back in the back, running to embrace each other. And I thought, God, if I die tonight, I'll die happy. I did my job. So all of these, most of these videos of our speakers are on our website, ourbooker.com, and you can find them there. It's not just a speaker, but it's a whole 2-hour service of candle lighting. There you go. There's one of them right there. There's
go to ourbooker.com.
There's one right there. There's Lily.
Look up Kristallnacht.
There you go.
Here's one of them.
There was that one. Go back. That was the one that was the Doctors of Hell. There, Vivian Spitz. She was the court reporter when she's 22-year-old woman from the U.S. War Department, went to Nuremberg. Boy, that changed her life forever. So all of these are there. But it's a lot more than just the speaker. It's Jewish and Christian leaders lighting candles together, and embracing Bill Morgan. Oh, there's Al. There's that one right there. 2003. Look at that. 2003. That's when we had that.
Almost 20 years ago.
Oh my goodness. So they're all there for people to watch. And this is Wolf. Now Ruth, she's still with us, Ruth Steinfeld. This is Leon. Leon was, look, he was one of Schindler's List. Leon was. He was on Schindler's List. We had Leon. All these people had these remarkable stories, and 1998, there's, you go, okay, so all of these were, they're all there.
So between 2005 and 2012, there's 6 years missing.
They must be on there somewhere. I don't know. There's
2012 was the last one? No, here's 2013.
No, we went to, I don't remember right off. I have to look it all up, but there's Lily. Okay. Yeah. All of these people had amazing stories of their survival. There's that book right up there. There it is. See it on the slideshow?
Yes. I see it too.
Yeah, that's the one right there. Mm-hmm.
Now here's the deal. You can find this book if you're looking for it on your website or on a link from your website or something like that.
Right there, they can order it right there.
Mm-hmm. Understand. But nowadays, most people order books through Amazon.
Yes, I know.
So here's the book on Amazon, but it's not there because it is only available by Kindle.
Okay, it's there by Kindle.
It's only available by Kindle.
Well, they can read it that way then.
People who like to read books by Kindle, but people who want to buy a book can't.
I know. Well, I tell you what, Gidon, I have so many books that I don't know where they all are right now. Okay, but I wish every Christian and every Jewish person in the world would read this book, and I wish people watching this could call in or write in or email us and buy a box of them or something and give them to their contacts. Publication date 2012. That's when I wrote that. When it was published, actually, 2012. It's so important, particularly as lawlessness is going unchecked in our world today. Please, somebody order these things and give them to your friends. It's so important. It's such a burden to pick me and Peggy. We just can't do everything ourselves, you know.
What I'm thinking of doing, you see, in Root Source, Root Source is a platform primarily to be a basis for Christians and Jews to engage with each other online through studying the Word of God together, the things that they share in common on a basis of mutual respect and love. But this year, I've actually been focusing a lot on Root Source Press, on publishing books.
Oh, good for you.
So we today have about 6 or 7 books that we've already published. And depending on how hard we'll work and how much a blessing we will have, we're poised to publish another 6 books this till the end of the year. Just in another 2 months. We'll see if that happens. Don't hold your breath. One of our more popular books is called The List.
The List?
It's called The List, and it is a list of over 1,000 anti-Semitic events that occurred from the beginning of Christianity till today. Primarily Christian events of anti-Semitism, but also other events of anti-Semitism, and also some positive things. So that book we published last year or 2 years ago. This year, we're working now and hopefully going to publish within a few weeks what we call the List 2020. It is a list of over 1,000, actually close to 1,500, if I'm not mistaken, events that happened only in the year 2020. About 1,000 things from the year 0 to 2019, and then in 1 year you have 1,000 things, the same amount.
I understand. Well, maybe you can consider being a distributor for this and some of the others you might like that I have.
So that's what I'm thinking of. I'd like to. I'm not offering it off the top of my head. I don't have a organized proposal.
I understand.
But if you can, if you have a manuscript or in Word document in digital format, and you should because it's in Kindle format, chances are we can take that Kindle format and turn it into a book, paperback and hardcover, that would be that could be sold on Amazon through KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, which is print on demand. In other words, you wouldn't have to go look for old copies that you have somewhere piled up. You wouldn't have to print more copies. All you'd need to do is get me the manuscript. And again, even if you don't have one, we could probably try to recreate it through the KDP. We might not even have to do anything. And then we would be able to offer not only the format of Kindle, but we can offer the format of paperback and hardcover too.
Now I know I have a lot of books on Amazon. I just don't know. I don't remember which ones they all are. So I can in time when I can look at a few of these and see if I can get some of them posted on Amazon, available through Amazon. It's nice for people to have them available through Amazon, but of course, they're pretty hard to work with authors, Amazon.
What do you mean?
Huh?
No, I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
Well, this is kind of how we make our living, and they take most of your living away when they put your books on their sites. That's what I mean. Yeah. But we do have a lot of books on Amazon. I have so many. I don't remember what all's up there right now. And some of them are books that are read. The book is read by somebody, and some of them are Kindle, and some's the paperback. I just don't know what all's up there, but this is a book. I have several that I think you might want to look at. as a distributor, put it that way, of some of these books. They're the good crossover books for Jews and Christians to help them come together. So something you might want to consider and talk with your friends about.
That's not that I'm definitely interested in considering, but to say the word distributor, it's a little easier said than done. And I don't know what you have in mind, that I should take 50 books and store them in my house instead of in your house. I don't think so.
No. What it means is when you put out a publication, you make this available and they can order it from us. That's what I mean.
And when they order it from you, is that you fulfilling it, or do you have a volunteer, or what?
No, we do it ourselves. There's a number of ministries, Christian ministries, that appreciate my books, and they order them in big numbers, and of course they get big discounts, but then they resell them to their followers. But what I was talking about with you is, if you think it might be appropriate sometime to consider, when you're promoting your different things you're having, your newsletters and things, if you thought it was appropriate, what a lot of organizations do, if they find a book they like, they'll promote it in their magazine or whatever, and say, go to Dr. Booker's website and you can order it there, blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm talking about. Now, we ship everything ourselves, all over the world for many, many years. But right now, you can't hardly afford to ship anything overseas from the US.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, that I can try to set it up so that people will be able to order from Amazon, or that you could order from Amazon. You see, I don't have any books in my house. I just, it all is done through author's copies. People, in other words, I do it's all done from the computer keyboard.
Oh, I understand, but I've started writing books in the 70s. That was
I'm not talking about writing the books. I'm talking about fulfilling the orders.
No, I understand.
Instead of me having to go into my shed and bring in 5, 10, 20 books, whatever, one book, and find an envelope and find stamps and find a pen and schlep it to I just type it up and I click 1, 2, 3, 4, 20, 30, 40. I want 50 books delivered within 5 minutes, and they take care of it all.
Well, that's a good way to do it today. But when I started writing books in the 70s, we didn't have that opportunity.
Of course, but now you do. That's what you got to do today.
We had to print thousands of them and put them in our storeroom somewhere.
No, those days are gone. Those days are gone. We have to figure out a way. Again, I don't deal with if I have to get a book to where, Australia or something like that, or Philippines, there are some places that Amazon doesn't like to send to. So for them, I fulfill it myself.
I understand.
But certainly in the United States, all this stuff has to be done by hand. I'm sorry, through the computer. That's and true. I have a director of fulfillment. She's in the Philippines. I send her I don't even send it. It goes directly to her, and she fulfills it. So that's what I'd like to see. If you have 50 books, I can show you. Here, let me show you, sir.
I understand. I think we have a few like that. Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't keep up with all the details.
Let me show you. Yeah, you've passed the years of details. Here are 13 books in our store.
There's your list. There you go. Very good.
So what do we do? Here, I'll show you an example.
There it is, the list. Very good.
This is a different book. So what we have over here is the book cover, looking somewhat like the Amazon page. You click through to Amazon, order the Kindle, and here we have the Bless Israel paperback and the Bless Israel PDF, which basically means that you get more money than through Amazon. People can buy through here or through Amazon if they prefer. And in any case, you don't have to do anything. We just have to set it up for you.
Very good.
So that's something that that I will discuss with my assistant. I don't have to discuss. She'll be happy to do it. What we'll have to discuss is whether these will be published on Amazon by root source, or we'll somehow figure out a way that they'll publish it on your Amazon, and we'll be able to figure it out that way. We'll figure something out.
Well, we like I said, I have quite a few books on Amazon. So, like with this book and others like that.
That book is not on Amazon.
No, I'm just saying it's just a matter of getting it done. Getting it put up there. So
that's what I'm proposing. That we will put together an agreement, and I'll put up all of your books on Amazon.
Well, we can look into it. I have an office assistant who can do these things too, but it's just a matter of, we just have so much stuff get on. I don't know really what all I have anymore. We're just trying to make it through one day at a time, helping people.
I didn't know that you have an office assistant. What's that person's name?
Rick.
Okay, listen, I'll remind you, and we'll be in touch, and I'll try to come up with some proposal with Rick, and then we'll propose it to you.
Well, now that we're basically through with our podcast, we're writing them all. We have a few more through the end of the year, but I'm freed up from that, having to do that almost all day, every day. So I have a little bit more time to do some of these other things that haven't given my attention to.
Well, we shall see. Listen, look how the time has flown. I just wanted to conclude with something else. Today we spoke much about Kristallnacht and about the Holocaust. So just today, there was something published, a story of a young man, of a gentleman who was a survivor of the Holocaust. His entire family was wiped out, his entire nuclear family. He was put as a young child into a Christian home of some sort.
Orphanage
of some sort. They couldn't pronounce his name. They gave him a different name when he was a kid. He didn't even know his own name. He survived. He ended up moving to the United States. He told his story to his daughter. And she was fascinated, and she said, I'm going to try to figure out who my father is, because he didn't even know who he was. He thought that he had no living relatives at all. It ended up that his father was killed, his mother was killed, all of his siblings were killed. It ended up, though, that his father had a sister who survived, who had ultimately passed away. He himself, this gentleman, I don't remember his name. He's in his 80s today. So obviously his father passed away, and so did his entire father's generation. But his father's sister had a daughter who lives in Israel. This gentleman's first cousin that he never knew he had. And his daughter did a search with DNA and all that kind of stuff. And this week, he came to Israel to meet his cousin.
Oh my!
That he never knew he had. They're both in their 80s.
Wow! Isn't that a beautiful story?
Amazing story. I'd really like to share with you now for 3 minutes. May I?
Please.
Let me try to find it. Give me a second. One minute. Give me a little musical background over here. One second. Here we are. Where I go? Okay, like I said, this is let me click through here and start sharing here.
My Hebrew is not very good. I'm sorry.
I'll try to translate it on the fly.
למפגש הזה שהתקיים היום בצהריים במודיעין חיכה ברנרד כ-80 שנה, ולא רק הוא חיכה.
אני מתה מהתרגשות, אני חצי לילה לא ישנתי, אני פשוט מתה מהתרגשות.
לפני כשנתיים ביוזמת ביתו, הוא עשה בדיקת DNA והחל לחפש התאמות, ותפילותיו נענו. הוא גילה שיש לו בת דודה מדרגה ראשונה בישראל. היום אחרי כמה מכשולים בדרך, הם סוף סוף נפגשו לראשונה.
ליסה, you move away, only.
Oh my God.
So exciting. So waiting. So fun. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm also fine. Now better.
הוא הסתתר כילד בשואה, ואז נמסר לבית יתומים, ואחרי שהסתיימה התופת, החל בחיפוש. חיפוש אחרי משפחה, אחרי שם, אחרי זהות. הוא לא ידע מה שמו המקורי, מתי נולד ואיפה. הוא בגר והקים משפחה, אבל כל הזמן נקרא בראשו שאלה אחת, מי אני?
It's amazing because I can really say that there is a family and there was a family before the war. I am someone who belongs to the big Stritsky family. And that's unbelievable feeling.
המון שנים הבת ליסה ניסתה לזהב קרוב משפחה, היא מצאה את אסתי וחשבה, אוקיי, עכשיו זה יקרה אחרי המון שנים של עבודה, קורונה, אי אפשר להיכנס לארץ, ליסה פנתה אליי וביחד בשיתוף פעולה עם דני דיין ביד ושם, אנחנו השגנו בשבילו את האישור להגיע לארץ כדי שהמפגש יכול לקרות.
וכך בגיל 80 זכה היום ברנרד לסגור מעגל, לשמוע על המשפחה הקרובה שאיבד בשואה, וגם על המשפחה שנשארה, וחשבה שברנרד נרצח גם הוא.
I've dreamt about it my whole life since I was 5 years old, and my dad would tell me about how he was in an orphanage, how he was hidden during the war, all of it. And I've always dreamt about being the one that finds something.
כל מי שיש לו מידע על נרצחים בשואה או על שורדים בשואה, שיבוא וימסור את המידע הזה ליד ושם.
אני מוסרת לך את הבן דוד שלי, שהיינו בני דודים מ-1965 עד היום. אני הייתי בקזן, עכשיו אני בקזן, אבל אני מזמינה אותך להמשיך להיות יחד איתי בקזן. I told Lisa when she came first to our house that we are family, no matter what the DNA will say, we are family. מה, איזה חיבוק, אני עוד אתן לו מיליוני חיבוקים.
76 שנים לתום המלחמה ההיא, אף פעם לא מאוחר מדי, לגלות מי אתה.
Very good. Yofi.
Amen. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Let me just check the schedule here because I think that I'm going to be moving our meetings times, if it's okay with you, to this time now at 5:45 instead of 5.
What is that in Texas time? 9:45, you mean?
Yes.
You'd rather meet at 9:45?
Yes, for the next few weeks or months.
That's fine.
Okay, shalom. I'll send you an email about that.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.